In a couple of, I don't know, 5 seconds, I ask about the price.
Right.
They don't tell me the price.
That's right.
They still talking later, you know?
Right.
I don't know why.
So the reason why, so the very important thing that he just said, and this gets back to marketing, and you heard Nathan use the word content, okay? And relevant content is because 20 years ago, you walked into the car dealership and you said to the guy, well, I'm thinking about buying a car. What models have you got? And what do you think, right? And I can tell you I bought a car this way. My husband, his father works for GM, so he got the GM discount. And we ended up buying a car, not from GM at one point in time, because the sales rep was really good and we trusted him. And the reason why we trusted him and the sales rep was really good, because he educated us, right? But today, what happens is he doesn't educate me. I've been online, I've looked at consumer reports, I've done a comparison, I know what the miles per gallons are, I know what the functions and features are. So now you're going to talk to that salesperson. And that salesperson knows that the only way he's going to get that sale with you is if he actually builds a relationship with you. In sales, my mother-in-law called me this morning and she bought a car, and the reason she wanted a Volkswagen, she desperately wanted a Volkswagen, but she decided to buy a GM because they've been dealing with the sales rep many times for many years before, and she just knows him and trusts him. So the reason he's not answering the question is because he's trying to engage with, if he's good, he's either a bad sales rep and he should be answering the question, but if he's not doing it by training, it's because he needs to engage and build a relationship with you and talk to you and not just give you sticker shock. I mean, has anybody here ever bought something that started off at $499 and you end up paying $850? Well, the guy's not going to tell you it's $850, right? He's got to have that conversation. So the reason he's doing that is to try to engage. But when Nathan talks about content, oftentimes people will go to a particular website for information because they get the content and they get educated and then they buy from them. And the best example of that is HubSpot, because HubSpot's on my list of blogs that there's probably 2 or 3, and Dharmesh from HubSpot is the guy. They sell software for SEO optimization. So their software helps you optimize your site for web analytics. And I have to say I've never yet needed to buy their software. But if I ever have to buy SEO optimization software, I don't care what anybody tells me, I'm buying HubSpot, because he has this blog, he's got all these free tools. You can take your website. Anybody here have a website for their business? You do? What's the website?
What's the URL?
Yeah, what's the URL?
GinaXGrant.com.
Okay, so you can take GinaXGrant.com and you can go to HubSpot, and you can go into your automatic website grader and you can type the name of your hub thing in, and you hit carriage return and you run a report, and it'll come up on the screen and it'll give you check mark, check mark, check mark. Yeah. You've done this, you've done this, you've done this. You're missing that. You don't have tags. How come you don't have keywords? Oh yes, you do have a blog. And it gives you just a simple to-do list.
Websitegrader.com.
Websitegrader.com, which is a HubSpot tool. Facebook Grader. They have all these different grader tools that are just really simple and easy, right? So the reason why we both remember HubSpot is because it gives us relevant educational content, which is how you get these guys in the field. And the interesting thing is that when the sales rep from HubSpot gets my phone call, when he's actually talked to me, I'm probably already qualified. So if you're a good marketing company, you're going to get rid of the first couple of funnels, and the first guy that comes in is already qualified. I learned about his product, I know what he's buying, and I always say to my marketing and my product company is the job that you have to do is to turn a sales rep into an order taker. Bell Canada mobile sales people in stores are order takers. iPhone, Apple salespeople are order takers. And I have to tell you that even when they're an order taker, being a sales rep is one of the hardest jobs in the world. It is not easy to still get that guy over the finish line and actually get him to buy, even when he's an order taker. But if you do good marketing and you turn that person into someone who can probably just deal with what's the price, right? Great news is he didn't, the Honda, if you were looking at a Honda, didn't have to have that sales guy be totally trained on why their product's better than the other guy. He can focus mostly on just getting you over the finish line. So you can do it with less trained salespeople, which means less money from a cost perspective. So you're going to have a filter of a funnel, and it's exactly what it says from a V perspective, that you filter down. One of the things that you will see in today's world is it used to be that your sales funnel was like this. You had 2 or 3 guys up here, and you got 1 now at the bottom. Now it's like this. Have 1,000 up here to get a few down this way. So that's why we're emphasizing the use of tools. In the same way that Nathan talked about have a plan and write what you're going to do, that last page that he had the Excel spreadsheet, do the same thing on your sales side. One of the other great websites to go to is a website called forentrepreneur.com. I follow 2 blogs religiously, HubSpot and forentrepreneur.com. Forentrepreneur.com is written by David Scott, who's from Matrix Partners. He's one of the leading VCs in the US marketplace, venture capitalist guys, and his website is unbelievable. And what he tells you to do, you have a question? What he tells you to do is walk through the sales process. So I'm a person and I've decided that I want to buy an off-grid street light. Okay, now I need to learn, how does this work? I have to do a business case to explain to my management that I should buy the solar-powered street light instead of getting grid connection. First thing he's going to ask me is, well, is it cheaper or is it going to cost me more money? So I have to provide a total cost of ownership, a TCO calculator between the two. And then the next thing I have to do is, does it meet the certification? And the next question I have to do is, what's the cost? And what's the shipping? And how do I solve? So I walk through what that sales process is that you need that person to go through. And then as you walk through that sales process, you figure out how you can meet that person's needs. So when he's at the early stage of the sales process, he's going to need sales sheets and presentations. He needs to get basic information about your product. When he's at the later stage of the sales process, he's going to need a solution blueprint and pricing. So he's going to actually have to know what the content of the materials are and what he's getting that's included and not included, and a detailed spec, and what's the warranty. You don't give the guy the warranty at the beginning of the process. You give it to him at the right step in the process. So map out the sales process as if you were buying it. And then those are the things you build, and those are the things you give them at each step in the process. I already talked about this a little bit. This is just a slide that talks about the fact that your sales funnel used to be like this, and now it's a really big wide one. So you can see here, to get 5 sales, I have to start with 1,800 people who are prospective customers, and of that 1,800 people who are prospective customers, that might mean you had 10,000 hits on your website. So that's the presentation. Any questions? No, FOR, FOR, entrepreneurs.com. Yes?
Could you put back to the second last before that, right here?
Yeah. So if you leave your email on a piece of paper, which I will find at the end of the session, we'll get the library to email you this entire presentation. I believe the video is being recorded and it'll be on the website, and a copy of the PDF presentation will be on the website. But if you want a copy, I should have told you that at the beginning so you didn't have to write down things. If you want a copy of the presentation, I'll find it. I forgot to bring a piece of paper, but we'll get you to write down your email address, leave it with me, and I will get them to send out a copy of the presentation for you.
Just
Yes?
want to add a comment. Today, what I really took away above, all sorts of things, but the big thing I took away was the sales component of really wrapping my head around and clearly understanding the scale, ability, or the potential I have based on my new understanding of what I'm starting with. Really significant.
Great. Any other questions or comments?
If you're running an e-commerce website and you differentiate your product from others by giving perhaps more accurate information, more detailed information, more useful information, but the product itself is similar to your competition, how do you glue the customer to your e-commerce website in terms of the actual sale when they go to your website, learn a lot of extra useful information, and then simply shop around for the lowest cost comparable product?
So I'm going to let Nathan answer that question with one caveat. The first step is to validate that that value-added feature that you're providing is actually meaningful to the customer. So presuming that that is the case, how would you do that, Nathan?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So the question, again, just to repeat, is you have two e-commerce sites, and correct me if I'm wrong, both have similar products or services. How do you differentiate? And so, or how do you glue the customer to your product?
Both or multiple e-commerce websites are selling a similar product at maybe varying price points. Let's suggest that my e-commerce website would have a lot more detail to help the customer understand more precisely what the product, how it works, how to install it, or whatever. How do you, and they may find that very useful, but how do you sort of prevent that client then saying, great information, Donald, now I'm just going to simply shop around for the lowest cost equivalent product from a website where they don't have any information, but they have a similar product at $10 less or whatever? That's
a fantastic question, because as a consumer, I can buy a car from many different dealerships. Some of them are in the same category, some of them are priced similarly. Really good question. So there's many different ways you can differentiate yourself as a product, whether it's a product or a service. Price is one. Content is the second. Service is huge, is big. Also, in your content and the way you deliver and package the product or service. For instance, I was launching an e-commerce site myself, men's accessories. And there's tons of different sites. There's Nordstrom, there's Hudson's Bay, Sears, et cetera, that are offering similar type items. But what I decided to do is differentiate based on, number one, quality of the product. So quality was different. I know in your case it's probably the same. But also service. I had a 1-800 number. Someone could actually speak to me rather than receiving just an email. I had answered some key questions on my website. So I always refer to the 5 key questions by Edward Nielsen, who's a famous market researcher. What makes it special? So is there endorsement of the product anywhere on the site? Has somebody, whether famous or locally, endorse it? What are the key features? So make sure that there are key features listed. What do you want me to do in terms of when I buy the product? In terms of, what makes it, did you want me to buy it or not? And what is the follow-on service? So a lot of times there's a really great follow-on service, follow-up call. If it's, if you have a car and you're getting an oil change, there's usually if you're at the dentist, they'll follow up with another next appointment. So I always go with service, the brand messaging, make sure it's clear. You can have a lot of content, but make sure it's answering those questions and being really, really relevant. So there's many different ways you can do it. It's all about, again, that perception of the brand and how you create that, answer those questions in the consumer's mind. Does that help or no? Make it worse?
I think there's another question in the back as well.
I think it's a fantastic question, but actually kind of answer that question. I have a similar question, but maybe more specific on the mobile application world. Thank you. Because today, for example, in the Apple App Store, we have more than 600,000 of apps for cell phone. Among them, maybe another like 260, 70-ish thousand for the iPads. So how do we differentiate from our competitors? Unfortunately, the combination is not 1 to 20, maybe 1 to 200, or even more.
Yeah.
I guess you have a very good answers about that, but is there any more comments specific for the
specifically in the mobile world?
Thank you.
There's best practices, functionality of the product, usability. So what's the experience once I land on the mobile device, the home page? So is it easy to navigate? Can I search easily on your product versus the competitors? Is it easy to understand in terms of, is the content laid out in bite-sized pieces that allows me to consume it? Is it solving a real need? Is it endorsed by other folks? So is it legitimate? Is it not going to take, is it a safe app to download? Is it going to take my information and drop it into the cloud somewhere and I don't know what's going to happen? So you have to kind of answer, again, those Edward Nielsen questions, make sure there's strong usability or user experience, great branding, great searchability of the product once you're on the app, and answering, again, those questions. Is it endorsed? So have users rated it? And a lot of ways you can do that, again, is by validating, by testing with small groups of your target user to figure out if it resonates. That's one great way of differentiating, is test it with your users and ask them what they think. How different is it in their eyes, right? Competition is never who we think it is. It's always who your customer thinks it is. And so if you test it with them, you'll figure out exactly what the messaging should be.
Can I have a card, please?
Pardon me?
Can I have your card?
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions?
I have a question on email for Nathan. So email is all about like building loyalty with your current base of customers, or it's actually to reach out and grow your business by expanding your base through, I don't know, renting or purchasing databases of emails and that kind of thing. So what's the balance between growing what you already have in your base versus expanding towards new bases?
I look at email as more of a, in the get, keep, grow funnel, it's in the keep and grow part of the funnel. You've already converted them as a user on your online or mobile device, or they've opened the shop door if you're a bricks and mortar store and they've walked in. You've got them. Email is just another form of communicating with them and communicating your value
Right.
proposition if you're a landscaper, etc.
The thing I think I would say is customers will buy a product from you so I believe that customers will buy a product from you, other than commoditized products, usually in two steps. Number one, I've decided I want to do business with you, and number two, okay, have you got the product that will meet my needs? But you also, if you've got the product that meets the needs, but it happens to be at the wrong time when they don't need the product. So nobody here is doing any shopping for Thanksgiving stuff this weekend. You are likely shopping for Halloween, and you might be starting to think about Christmas. So when it comes to my Valentine's campaign, for my Valentine's campaign products or services, you might say, oh, there was this really great, I was on this website, it's really good stuff. What was it called? Right, in January. So email is a way to stay top of mind so that you are, in a nice way, keeping it top of mind for the person, because it's possible that that person may have decided to just look at you or had you, but they have a need for your product, but not right now. And email is that recurring way to stay at the point, especially depending upon what the sales cycle is. I might have looked at a really great landscaping thing right now because I really wish I would have gotten it done this year. Now I'm not going to do anything. Next spring I'll start shopping again. And I can't remember which site I was at. So if I registered for email and I'm getting it, that's one of the big benefits from that perspective.
It's also a great way to promote out other parts of the business. So once they've opened it,
Right.
you can promote your Facebook fan page. You can promote an article that was written about you, Twitter, etc. It's a great way to keep them engaged.
Do you have a preferred contact management tool that you recommend? Like right now I'm on Gmail and I'm using the stars.
All the presentations you've done so far, will there be PDFs and the actuals on the library website? Because I just got back to town and missed
Right.
a number of them.
So the first presentation was just a conversation between myself and Michael Halinka, and they didn't video it. So I don't think that one is on the website. But the last presentation I gave was a presentation, and that is going on the website and going to be posted, and this one will as well, yes.
The interview is on our website now. It's on one of our blogs, the business finance blog. but it's just the audio. It's right on the home page. Right in the home page, it'll say Business and Finance blog or Business and Finance, and if you go in there, you'll see it. Yeah, you're welcome.